Now we got the music going. You can hear the music.
I can hear the music.
I can hear the music. I can hear you. You can hear me.
Perfect.
How embarrassing.
I thought you were a professional.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick. And shout out to Senjin Boychuk for that awesome intro music. And with us today, we have special guest, Safety Girl. Is it Tanya, or Tanya?
Tanya.
Or is it Tanaya?
Oh, God, don't even go there.
It's Tanaya. It's Tanaya, isn't it?
No.
It
is Safety Girl Tanya.
Tanya.
Yes,
so, like, my wife has, like, a cousin named, and I get it wrong all the time. It's either Tanya or Tanya. I don't know.
5th grade, there was a Tanya and a Tanya in the same class. So I usually respond to both, but it is Tanya.
Nice. So we were supposed to start this like a half hour ago, but
yeah.
We had some technical difficulties on someone's end.
Someone doesn't have his shit labeled like he's supposed to, but
it is labeled. I just don't know how it slid into the wrong hole.
I'm not touching that one.
How's it going?
Good. It has been quite a ride for the last 2 weeks, but no, we're gearing up for another busy summer, and I'm just trying to keep pace.
Okay, you know summer's like half over, right?
Shh! Don't say that.
well, like you think you know, because it's the one time a year that Safety gets out of their truck.
You know, actually, I have not even been out to the field yet this summer.
I knew it. See, I was joking, but I wasn't.
I spent more time out in the field in the winter at -30 than I have out in the wonderful sunshine.
Okay, so there's a difference between sitting in your truck while in the field at -30 and being like outside.
Oh, my dear. I am always outside. Unless I have to go back in and answer the phone, which never freaking stops. I actually like being outside.
So,
you know them crews.
I don't know if everybody knows this, but like, I mean, if you follow me anywhere on social media, you know that I'm always like ragging on the safety person. And Tanya and I are always bickering back and forth, sort of. And, you know, I take a lot of heat sometimes for it. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, like, you're not funny and the safety's important, yada, yada, yada.
But you have to have fun with it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not having fun, then what's the point, right?
What is the point of making videos on the internet to make people smile and laugh and feel just genuinely good about their time if you can't have fun? You know
exactly.
what I mean?
And that's the whole reason I started this. You know, I'd see other people making funny videos, and I'm like, I could do that. But I mean, yeah, that's the whole point. I don't like the mean ones. That stays off of my radar.
Oh yeah, no,
unless I'm picking on you.
I stay the hell away from that shit.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Exactly, but it's been fun. It's nice to have someone to poke fun with and someone that'll give it right back. So I appreciate that.
So there are times where it's like sometimes there's like a week or two where I don't look at my ads and I have my notifications turned off. So I'll go into like mentions and whatnot, and I'll select that one, and I'll be like, oh, Tanya made a video like 5 days ago. What? So I go in there and I look, and it's got me mentioned, and I'm like, oh, now I gotta reply to that, right? So, you know, yeah, sorry if it takes me a while to get back to you sometimes.
Well, that's fine. We're both busy. A lot of the times I'm doing those just kind of sitting around at the end of the day, kind of my wind down before bed. So yeah, no, I get it. Everyone's busy. This is a fun pastime for me.
Does Safety sleep?
Occasionally.
Okay.
Occasionally.
I was going to say, like, you're like the blood-sucking Edward Cullen.
Oh, no. We do sleep occasionally. We're always watching, though.
Ooh.
Always no.
Damn. Well,
after 20 years, after 20 years, we start to develop a little bit of a sense about stuff. We just know shit's gonna happen.
Nice. So you've been in the safety side of things for 20 years?
Safety for, I think it's been going on 8 years now,
8.
but
Okay. Okay.
oil oil field with no sleep for 20.
The no sleep gang. What up?
Mm-hmm.
I feel that. What did you do before you got into the into the safety side of things?
So do we go all the way back to the beginning?
Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Back
I
to
back to
I'm gonna be very careful with my words there.
back to the Stone Age almost. 2002.
I was in grade 8.
Shut up. No, 2002. I was not making any money working on an ambulance. So everybody at that time, that's when medics kind of started to really become big. And so I applied and got my first medic job running. I think on my first one, I was just watching a pipeline and I was the radio control. I sat on a hill. I didn't even see the crews unless they drove by. And then, yeah, kind of like that freedom and just being out in the trees because I'm from Southern Alberta. So trees were exciting around Grand Prairie. And then, yeah, started, yeah, working around Grand Prairie and then up in Peace River, all doing medic stuff on pipelines, drilling rigs, service rigs. And the drilling rig was the coolest because that's where I learned more about everything.
Amen to that.
I mean, I've had my class 3 since I was 18, but of course, Southern Alberta was an automatic feed truck, right? But the water hauler on that rig taught me how to shift.
I
Hang out with,
still I still can't shift.
I've noticed. I saw that video. Um, but yeah, it was, being with that crew. I mean, I was scared shitless of them. My very first drilling rig, and back then it was all rig pigs. That was what it was. If you knew anyone on the rigs, yeah, that was their name. You stayed away from them. But those were the best guys that I've ever met. They taught
Yep.
me so freaking much. For a while there, they even, and this was back when it was still kind of allowed, they hired me as their lease hand. So I was doing double duties as a medic and a lease hand, running for lunches and taking the crew back and forth, as long as I
Doing the
stayed clean.
laundry. Yep.
Doing the laundry, as long as I stayed clean. But towards the end, I'd double up my shift. My cross shift would come in and I'd help bolt up BOPs and make connections, just
Good for
learning.
you. Good for you.
And then, yeah, wireline after that.
I wanted to be a wireliner so badly. Like when I worked for Frac Check, I was like networking all over site, and like my first stop was wireline, and I learned a lot about it. I sat in the log truck and I talked to the guy, and I would talk to the other guys around site that were part of the crew, and the money seemed good, right? Like when they
Mm-hmm.
talked about it, right, they make a percentage, right?
Yeah.
So it seemed like that was seemed like a pretty decent place, like that I wanted to end up. And I got like the company name and number and the guy to talk to, and I talked to the guy and we communicated a bit, but then Slumberjay is no longer a thing.
Mm-hmm.
um they were starting to slow down and lay people off, so it was like, well, I'll circle back around to that later, I guess.
Yeah.
And I never did. I kind of went in another direction, and I'm kind of glad I did.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I mean, sometimes it works out for you, but sometimes the next door is the one that opens wide for you, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
for there, I worked my way up to the right operator level. I didn't want to be the engineer. We were open hole wirelining. I did not have any desire to do case toll, like explosives and me. Not fun. But yeah, it was actually probably one of the best work experiences because I was able to, when it slowed down in Canada in about 2007, 2008, they started shipping us to the States to train people.
Yep.
So we were going down to Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, West Virginia, training, which was basically we were working the jobs because they couldn't hire people down there either. So got to tour and travel and yeah, meet lots of interesting people. It was
What's your
fun.
favorite place?
Um, it's a toss up between Odessa, because that's where I was first based. Just so much different country. You're in the desert, you're out in the cotton fields, in the cornfields, and the next day you're up in Red Rock Mountains. So
That's awesome.
definitely cool. And some of the most polite people that I've ever met. I don't think I ever held the door open for myself or anyone else. Yeah, just I don't think even working on the rigs, as soon as I would jump out of the logging unit, as soon as they saw that ponytail sticking out from a hard hat, I've never seen a rig crew move so fast. You can't be hauling that up as you're sliding tools out of the back onto the catwalk. You can't be doing that. Dude, I do this by myself at minus 30 in full PPE. You're down here in flip flops. I got this.
Isn't that crazy?
It
Like
was
in the
insane.
US, and it's still a lot like that, where they
Oh,
don't have to wear a lot of the same PPE that we do.
no. I walked up onto that rig floor in full Canadian 7-ounce coveralls, hard hat, gloves. I don't think they'd ever seen a pair of gloves on that rig. And one guy's in a tank top, the other guy's wearing shorts and flip flops, and he's running the brake. I'm thinking, oh crap.
Yeah,
And it
that's
was,
insane.
I think when I was down there, like over the course of the 6 weeks that I was down there for my first hitch down, I think there were 2 rig fires.
Wow.
Unfortunately, there was a fatality at one of them. But it's like, wow, you definitely take an appreciation for safety when you travel somewhere else and see how other places do it. And you're like, yeah, I'm kind of happy back up across the border. Thank you.
Yeah, and we were talking about that in a couple episodes ago now about like that hasn't come out yet, but we're talking about it a couple episodes ago now about how like I was talking to a Halliburton hand, and he was telling me like in Texas they don't, or in the U.S. in general they don't have like vac trucks just available all the time to do environmental stuff, right? So
Hmm.
if it hits the ground, it usually stays there.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Lots of stuff
insane.
just shoveled into a pit, open flowing water from the rig into the pit. I'm like, wow, that would so not be allowed up here.
No.
No.
No, no. And so when you were, and also like when you were like what, back in 2002, you said there was not really any cell phone. There was no internet on the cell phones yet. Like, what'd
Oh,
you do with yourself?
back then we still had the bag phones
The big,
and the big old brick bag phone. It was the only way to get service. Lots of books. Um, Laptops we're just kind of getting to that price range where average people could afford one. So yeah, it was a laptop and movies. And when you ran out of movies, I self-taught myself Excel just because I'm a nerd. Um, but it worked into stuff because the rig that I was at, their push hated computers, did not want to do any work on a computer. So it's like, well, I can do that. I can type. And so yeah, I just kind of taught myself skills while you're sitting there.
that's cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Like there's, you probably, I don't want to say we're smarter back then, but like they there was definitely more motivation to like learn other shit. Well, now it's kind of like, well, I want to know what this is, so I Google it. But like
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't, because when I first started working as well, and it wasn't all that long ago that cell phone plans were ridiculously expensive to have the internet on them.
Mm-hmm.
It would cost you an arm and a leg just to open the Internet Explorer. And yeah, oh, I remember that. That was crazy, man. Like,
Went to
yeah,
one website, there's your paycheck.
yeah, yeah. That's
Mm-hmm.
insane. But how much fun did you have downloading like ringtones for like ten
Tones.
cents, right?
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
this gonna be a ringtone, 10 cents or 30 cents or whatever it was, maybe $1.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Okay, now I feel really old.
Well, you're way older than me, and I feel old.
Yeah, no. And back then, people talked to each other. That's you hung out in the up in the doghouse. You hang out in the lay down area, and everyone would just pull up window to window and you'd sit and you talk and you'd learn stuff, right?
We still do that. I do
Yeah.
that. I go and talk, right? Like, when I'm not making a video or whatever, I'll go and when I was working for Frac Shack, I'd walk around site at night, right? If I was on night shift, I'd walk around the site at night because there'd be like 3 hours before you could do anything. So it'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna go shoot the shit with people, see what's going on. I do that now in the vac. I help like what testers. I'll help them break apart their joints or whatnot, and I'll help carry their pipes to their truck or whatever if they're finished and we're waiting on them, and I'll just give them a hand,
Yeah.
and yeah, you learn a lot about people when you just, hey, how's it going, what's up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the conversation starts. Gord from the Second Act podcast and I actually talked about this way back on episode, like, oh geez, 6 maybe he was on, and he's like, there's a difference in conversation that happens when someone says, "How are you?" and you just say "good," or you say "good" and you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that "and you" leads to a completely different conversation, right? And
It
that's
opens up a
huge.
conversation, right? That's
Absolutely,
and you can't get.
absolutely.
That's the one thing I've seen a lot of scared young faces come through, and it's like everyone says, ask lots of questions, and that's true. It's not just, hey, what is that? How does that work? But go out and talk to the people, see how they're doing. Do they like their job? What do can I watch you do it? Can I help you do anything? And that's how you learn stuff. You don't learn stuff from sitting on the sidelines. Like, get out there and do it, but don't be afraid. The worst thing they're going to tell you to do is fuck off.
Yep,
So,
yep.
big deal.
Oh, you got to be careful telling someone to fuck off these days, right? Because that's harassment.
Investment. Oh, right.
That
I wrote that policy. Right. I forgot about that.
that is some bullshit. Like, there's a guy at work that I'm working with right now that I have choice words for him, and I want to use them all the time. But I just see it in his face. He's a little weasel, right? And I was like, if I do say it, he knows I mean no harm by it, but he will use that to his advantage that I can't say that anymore, right?
Exactly.
And yeah, no, it happens a lot. It's absolutely insane. Um, but you know, with the hand holding that's going on, right? And you don't get to yell at people. Like,
No.
you get that. You don't get to yell at people, but to have the ability to be like, hey, go fuck yourself. Okay. Like, I would love a little bit more of that in my life. I say it anyways, but like, hey, go fuck yourself. It's just something that needs to be said a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I bite my tongue every day. Every day.
Well, as safety, you can't, right? You're technically, you're in that sensitive position, right?
Yeah. The ones that write the policies and sometimes have to enforce the policies. And even though we don't always agree with the policies,
Hey,
yeah, we still have to be somewhat professional.
make them, enforce them, and break them yourself once in a while.
Shh. We don't say that out loud.
so like, what happened? Because you said you've been in the patch for like 20. Jesus, it's been 21, 22 years.
Yeah.
22 years, 21 years. That's insane. So, after, like, 21, I don't know the math there. Was it like 16, 7, 15? So, yeah,
Um,
15. It's 15 years. So after 15 years of doing other shit, what happened that made you be like, hey, I need to become a safety person?
I had an incident actually. Um, something it was a hazard that everybody had written up. And that day I had loaded chemical from the same tank. I think this was probably my seventh or eighth load. I was running pressure truck out in Saskatchewan at the time, and the client had their chemical tank in a Rubbermaid, basically, containment. No steps, but you had to reach up to open the top valve and open the second one. For some reason, that last load, I put my PPE on. First time I'd done it all day. You're supposed to wear the rain suit and the face shield. That was the time that I slipped. There was just a skiff of snow on the bottom of my boot. And when I stepped up on that cold plastic, whoop, and I landed on my fittings and I had sand suspension hit me right in the chest and go down. And I wasn't wearing the pants, so it hit my knees. And I was about half an hour from the shop. So it's soaked through 3 layers of clothes. And when I called for help, they didn't come. My supervisor, I'm already back in town. Safety, do I have to come out or can you handle it yourself? That's fine. I stripped down, cut my leggings, my jeans off, coveralls off, and I drove back to town basically in my underwear. And luckily, I had a mechanic at the shop. And I said, get me new coveralls. And I jumped in the shower and got the chemical off. And it wasn't very long afterwards because I was mad that, here I've had an incident. I have no one coming to help me.
Yeah.
So dealt with it. And about 3 weeks later, that's when their annual performance reviews came in. And they always ask you, so where do you see yourself in 2 years? And I said, well, in 2 years, I want her job. About 6 months later, I had her job.
Nice.
I went through, while I was still running pressure truck, I did a 7-3-7-4 schedule. And then on my days off, when I could book a course, I would drive to Edmonton to the ACSA and do a course or two, depending on the week. And within a month, I had my NCSO. And then they had an opening where they needed another field safety, and I applied and got it. And by the time that whole company, it went through so many transitions, I was the last one standing. We started with, I think there was 5 of us at the start. By the time they finally parted out the company, I was the last one standing. So,
Well, if anyone's ever seen your videos or talked to you, um, how do I word that? If anyone's ever talked to you like on a personal level
mhm.
and seen your videos as well, um, you know, they we know you're a fighter. You got some snarl, right?
Yeah,
You're like drooling and shit, and you're just like, hey, don't fuck around and find out. Let's go.
exactly. I mean, there's having fun and joking around and, but still getting the job done. But then there is a reason why there are rules. And when people break the rules, I will tear into them. But
Yep.
at the same time, and that's why I don't agree with a lot of company policies. I might have to follow them and enforce them. I don't agree with them. Um, but it's the people at the end of the day, right? I have gotten home after, a 9 hour day in the city doing office work, drive an hour home, have, it actually happened one night. I had 2 bites of supper. My phone rang. Well, now I'm back in the truck for what should have been a 2 hour drive. I made in maybe an hour and 15. But when I heard that one of my guys was in another province having chest pains, I'm there. And that was the company's policies that safety always went to the hospital with you. I motored. It was my guy. I'm there. I understand that I'm an overhead cost. Safety always is. So that's why my priority is the people that are out in the field working. Without you working, I don't have a job. So, of course, in my role, I'm a support role. So I am there to support you. I will come and hold your hand at the hospital. I will go pick up your wife if she needs to come and be there with you. I will drive you back and forth to appointments.
My
But
wife
that's,
needs to be here with me right now.
you always want your wife there with you. But that's my job. That's my role. So,
Yeah, yeah, no, and that's huge, and that's good. Like you guys are, yeah, you're an overhead cost, but like it's a necessary overhead cost. You know what I mean? It's one that, you know, ah, shit. Let's say, geez, safety really started becoming like a big thing in the last. It hasn't been very long. It hasn't been very long. What, 15 years?
yeah, maybe. I mean, there was always a
Maybe.
little bit. I remember my uncle writing a safety manual, and he was an operator. So, I was a teenager when he started doing that. So, yeah, it hasn't really been in the forefront, but, unfortunately, for every incident, that's why we have a policy. So,
Yep. You got that triangle, and you know the triangle.
go,
I
yeah,
don't even want
absolutely.
to tell you where I am on that triangle right now. Like every day, it's in the back of my mind where I am on that triangle, and
Mm-hmm.
that's basically that's shit. That's because of shit that started back in my 20s,
Yep.
right? And it progressively got worse, and now I'm in my 30s, and I'm thinking a little bit more before I do things. But I've noticed, that those incidents, they've gotten worse, right?
Mhm.
They get a little bit more severe the next time, a little bit more severe the next time. I got chemical in my eye last year, or the year before that, and it was some pretty powerful degreaser. I was wearing my shades, but like it went down a little bit, went down. And I just went to work, but my coworker, he called the safety guy. He's like, "Hey man, he got some in his eyes and his eyes are really red." Like, and so that he came, he's like, "Hey man, like we need to get you to the hospital, just flush them, get them looked at." Let me tell you
Mhm.
something. I've been cleaning so many rig tanks and have so much invert in my eyes and other shit like that. I was seeing colors so vibrantly that day, like colors I hadn't seen before in a while. Like it flushed. It probably ate away and flushed what was in there before. That is, that was crazy. I almost want to go have a bath in that shit.
No, please don't. Please don't.
It's funny because we talk about you a lot, even like you know um you've been mentioned a couple times in the podcast, like, oh, sorry, Safety Girl Tanya, right? Or, even like personally when I hung out with people and outside of work or even at work, and it's like, oh man, what would Tanya say right now? Like this is what would Tanya do? And because everyone knows, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. It's a lot of fun, and like before TikTok, safety people were just some people at work that and I think we're all like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like different people outside of our own positions. It's like, oh, they're just other people walking around, right?
Yeah.
They're the supporting cast in my main character story,
Mhm.
right? And TikTok has brought all these people together that are all main characters in their story, and it's kind of showing us, or yeah, showing us like, hey man, like this person's not just another person walking around your building, right? This person has shit going on and is, oh, it turns out you're pretty funny too, what's going on, it turns out. And hey, and maybe I could be friends with that person,
Exactly.
and yeah, and and it's kind of brought different parts of the industry together.
Oh, exactly. I've met a lot of cool people on here, some in person, not a lot, but yeah, I consider most people that I interact with on TikTok friends. And yeah, maybe one day we will meet. But yeah, it's kind of nice to say that, hey, you know what? That operator over there, you wouldn't think that he's funny, but as soon as you walk away, he's got a camera and he's dancing behind the unit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You would not expect that from that guy. But yeah, it's been interesting to watch and meet everybody else and see how everybody else interacts too.
Well, we're all going through it in the industry, right? And a lot of people outside the industry too, but we're all going through it, especially in the industry, and that's what we know is the industry. So in the
Mhm.
industry, we're all going through it. We're all working away from home. We're all cold. We're all hot. We're all, we're
Sick
all
and tired of camp food.
get tired of camp food. We're all missing home. We're all missing our kids, or our wives, our husbands, yada yada yada, right? So and the camaraderie, and it is bar none. We talk about that a lot, but we're all doing this. You don't know that guy over there. What he needs to do is he needs to dun, 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 and you don't know that he needs to do that just to make himself feel good for 5 minutes,
Oh,
10 minutes.
exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see, actually. Um I'm told that you wouldn't necessarily think it, but I'm sort of more reserved or bashful or quiet in person, right? So says Corso Chris, I guess.
We'll have to ask for that on
Around
Saturday.
around my coworkers, I get a little rowdy if I know them well enough, like Drew Scanes and Double D, and I get a little like rowdy. I'm always like, oh, your mom, or looking to insert a dick joke, or drop the F bomb like a million times a day. But I turn it off, right? It's exhausting. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like, what, like, hey, I'm I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. I'm just going to be quiet. And people listening that know me personally probably be like, that dude quiet? Except for Corso Chris. She thinks I'm quiet and bashful and more reserved. So we'll let her have it.
Okay.
And you're going to go see her this weekend?
I'm going to try to. Work is turning into a little bit more of a show than I was expecting. We've had some more developments over the last 3-4 hours. So, yeah, I might be working a little bit harder during my transition. So I'm going to try to get up there on Saturday, but.
A grand opening.
Grand opening I thought was in August.
Maybe it's in August. I don't know. I don't know.
You actually have to read your social media.
I actually shared her grand opening post to my own Facebook like this morning.
Pretty sure it's in August, but yeah, no, my goal, I did have plans this weekend to go and meet Chris, meet Carl, because I think he's going to be in Sherwood Park. So just kind of tour around and meet some cool people.
Big shout out to Carl. He was on the podcast at one point too.
Exactly. So, and it's kind of cool how you interact with them just in the comments and just like, wow, I would never have followed him before, but now it's like, wow, he's quite the interesting guy. Excuse me. And it's kind of been cool to watch Chris go from just moderating comments to now she's doing full-fledged videos and showing off her new pet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I mean, just interacting with them through comments and talking to you. We've talked on the phone a couple of times. I would never have done this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I was actually, there was a little break in the oil field work because I was laid off during COVID. But I missed the whole Zoom calls. I didn't have to do all of that. So to do a live or an interaction like this, wow, this would not have happened 2 years ago.
Yeah, I wasn't the live streaming, like on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. Yeah, I wasn't big into that. It's good, that kind of stuff, Double D was there the first time I went live. Actually, it was in his camp room. I'm like, man, I just hit 1,000 followers, and I'm like, man, I can go live now. He's like, dude, let's go live. I'm like, well, I can't go live by myself. I don't feel comfortable with it. You know what I mean? Like, that's awkward. He said, come on in my room. I'll go live with you. We'll just shoot the shit, banter back and forth, And so we did. And for the longest time, that's the only way I would go live is with D. And we would just shoot the shit, joke around. And then, I found someone else to go live with because D left for a bit. And so someone else went live with me. And then I got comfortable going on my own and doing it on my own, right? And now that's how I prefer it. That's how I prefer it. I can engage with the comments more. I can interact. I can, you
can direct the conversation to where you would like to talk, what you want to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. And live is fun. I don't see you go live all that much.
Crappy internet. Unfortunately, I do live in central Alberta. And yay, tell us. Just have really crappy internet. So not a lot of lives at home. So we'll try to get better. Might even update the phone this weekend. So maybe that'll help. But
what are you currently rocking?
An iPhone 11. That's
not too bad. That's not too bad. That's what I had up until last September.
So, and we'll see where the summer and the fall takes me. Might be moving a little bit closer to town just for hours of work and stuff like that. And
like Edmonton?
No.
Calgary?
No. Red Deer. Sorry.
But you should move to Edmonton. Come hang out.
But I have a really good job. And my family's central Alberta too, so.
Yeah, that's important.
And actually, the company I'm working for right now, I really like. I don't know if we mentioned it here. I told you about it. I haven't told too many other people about it.
Well, hey, hold on. This could be my Dave Skylark moment. You've been listening to the podcast. You know what my Dave Skylark moment is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eminem is gay on my show. Except for Eminem's not on my show. I don't know. Do you want to talk about it? You don't have to if you don't want to.
We can, because it is still technically, I am going to be taking some of the safety with me. They don't know it yet, but I'm taking it with me.
Okay.
So, and I mean, most of the people, I've shown some logos, but I do work for TR Transport in Bentley. So we're just outside of Red Deer.
Sand dollars.
Sand haulers, sand logistics, we prefer, because we don't just haul it, we manage it on site too. So
Yeah.
we own the bins, we unload the trucks, we have a big storage facility here. We're also really short on dispatchers. So it was supposed to be middle of August. It might be as soon as tomorrow, but I
Oh.
start training in dispatch to become the dispatch supervisor.
So now I gotta tease you double.
I am going from the most hated position in the oil field to the second most hated position in the oil field.
But you're still gonna be safety, right? Or
I will take some parts of the safety with me,
okay,
probably
that's what I meant.
ELDs, log monitoring, those kind of things. Anything that relates to the big trucks, I will take with me. And then we'll hopefully find another safety person to take care of the mechanics and the sand plant and all the legislative stuff that we have to do. So all the record keeping and
Nice.
some invoicing. But we're a
Um,
small enough company. We kind of double up on the duties. So it's a good thing to go and learn, right?
when I was trying to leave Frac Shack and going to do wireline and trying to go here and there, I actually spoke with a couple of gentlemen from TR on site about doing that, but it didn't seem like it. From what they were saying, I don't, and it's probably not like that. Everyone's got beef everywhere they work, so, but it wasn't necessarily somewhere I wanted to go. It was just connections I was trying to make.
Mhm.
So I decided, okay, I'll go look other places then, right?
Mhm.
That was kind of just, I was on my way to the bathroom and on my way back, they were there and I
Conversations.
and I chatted, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, just sparked something there. So yeah, it was interesting, and then I moved on to my merry way, or moved on
exactly.
my merry way, not on to. I don't know. I'm not smart.
But that's one thing that I have noticed, because I've worked, pipelines, rigs, upstream, downstream stuff. Fracking was new to me. Um, other than being a medic that sat at the gate, like, and we were at that time we were not allowed on site. You sat at the entrance. Um, it is a very transitional position. When the fracks are going hard, you work hard, and as soon as breakup hits, it is dead. I've never had to do so many reorientations and rehires just because all of a sudden the work dries up, people go find another job, and now you've got to
Yep.
rehire a whole new crew and teach a whole new crew how to do it. So it was kind of weird. We do have a great crew right now. Actually, we probably could run 3 crews. Still looking for more, but the work has been steady. So that's where it's like, wow, we are actually picking up more work this year than we have probably in the past 3. But you know, market conditions have changed. Our safety record has definitely changed. It's gotten a hell of a lot better. Thank you very much. But it's having people out there that care, right? If you don't have anyone out in the field that cares, of course people are going to have accidents.
Got to change that culture, right?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I know everyone hates the culture talk from the safety person, but it's true. And it's not even about culture. It's just having someone out there to say, hey, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? What do you need? Because half the time they've got a shit list. I need this. It would be great if we could do this, that, and the other thing. Well, that's simple. All you had to do is ask. We can do
Yep.
that. So just having people out in the field from the office, because I know a lot of us get stuck in the office because there is a lot of stuff that you guys in the field maybe don't realize that we do.
Oh, that we know. I think everybody knows, right? There's definitely got to be a lot of paperwork that you got to do in order to implement such horseshit, right?
Absolutely.
Right? Like it's like,
Absolutely.
hey, so I was on site one day, and I'm not gonna say with what company, but I was on site one day, and obviously I think she was safety. She had to have been safety. She rolled out of her truck and she looked around. She was listening for a couple minutes. Gets on the phone like, I think we need to implement more procedures. And then I just look at her. I was like, you are not serious right now, right? Because like I look around here and all the hoops we have to jump through just to get anything done, and
Mhm.
it's still not safe enough for you. Like
That's
go back in your truck, run to Tim Hortons in town. I'll take a medium mocha double double, please, and a everything bagel toasted with herb and garlic cream cheese. Buy yourself. I'll give you some money. Take your time, right? Let us finish here and then come back.
see, and that's where you can tell the difference between safety people. There's two different kinds. There's the safety people that have frozen their ass off at -40 for 4 weeks straight, or the people that went, I'd like to be a safety person, so I'm going to go to school. And you maybe have done a little bit of field work, but they are all about procedures and writing and enforcement. They don't actually know how it really works out there. It's great to have a procedure for everything, but we know in the field it's not going to work on every site for every crew. Shit happens and you
Yep.
have to adapt. And I know that most guys are not going to sit around and wait for me to do a change order and redo all of the hazard assessments. They're going to be like, nope, this is what we're going to do. We have 15 minutes before it's dark and we have to be off site. We're going to do this as safe as possible for the most part, but we are still going to get shit done.
Here's where I'm gonna throw you for a loop. One day, you're gonna come on TikTok, and I'm gonna have my NCSO, and I'm gonna be a safety guy. Can you see it? Can you see it happening?
Anybody can get their NCSO.
Wow, it's that easy, eh?
It's actually a lot harder now. To keep it active and do the ongoing training. And that's the biggest change that since I did my courses. It used to be back in the day, you did your courses, you got your ticket, you were a safety officer. Now they've changed it where you have to keep doing the ongoing training and make sure that you actually have an exam to write now. So it beefs it up a little bit.
How much? How much is it?
Oh, I don't know. I paid per course. I paid for it as I could.
Okay, okay. So, like, you. So is TR okay? You said this. Is TR Transport hiring?
Absolutely.
And do you do the hiring?
I do not.
No, but
I
can you tell them where they can apply to and what they're looking for?
Absolutely. We're looking for class one drivers with off road experience. We're looking for sand plant operators, which are basically it's an entry level labor job. You open the bottom of the truck and you let the sand fall out. That's pretty much it. It is in a basic way. There's a lot of other maintenance and stuff like that, but that's your basic entry level job. And of course, we're always looking for mechanics in Grand Prairie or Red Deer area.
So if you guys have worked for Sahara and you're mad and you're disgruntled,
Come on over.
TR is looking for you. Sahara is not for you no more.
Exactly. Come on over to the cool club.
Ooh, you guys have like the hopper style
The
things. I don't
silos.
know the styles. I don't know what I like more. Sahara's uh like bins that stand on end and look like a cool like Chernobyl like tower, or like the silos. I think I don't know. I don't know what I like more. Doesn't
Oh,
matter. It doesn't matter what I like more. I'm not a sand person.
exactly. But
Yeah.
last time I looked, you were running a back truck or swamping on a back truck.
Oh, yeah. Just
someone
just
won't go. Someone won't go and get his license. So
no, I don't want to. I have no interest. I don't care. I don't care. I have no interest. I like sleeping. I
mm,
value sleep. And as a swamper in the swamp seat, I can do a lot of that.
see, and I
Can
still have
also
my class 3, and that is my backup plan. And I'm thinking that after this, I will probably upgrade eventually, get my 1, and still have that option if I don't want to do safety anymore. It's like, you know what? Screw it. I have met a lot of truck drivers on this TikTok app, and
yep.
yeah, it'd be kind of cool to go and travel and see and do different things. So,
Well, if you do want to become a driver, and you don't mind getting absolutely filthy, I do know a vet company that's hiring.
No, really.
And it's not the one on my shirt right now. It's yeah. I know a couple good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
and a couple of bad ones.
I've got probably a standing open invitation to go back to Lloydminster to either do safety or back on a truck at any time because I've got a friend out there that cannot hire people fast enough.
Yeah, but it's Lloydminster.
Exactly. It's Lloyd freaking Minster.
Are you gonna be in Saskatchewan or are you gonna be in Alberta? Like,
I'm
what is
sorry.
it?
It's got to be Alberta all the way.
That's right.
The
I love
Saskatchewan
that.
side's just kind of weird.
So hey, where can people find you on the socials?
I am on the Instagram and the Facebook and the TikTok. Safety Girl
Yeah,
Tanya.
and it's say like underscores or just
Oh, yeah, I think it's underscores on all of them.
they'll figure it out.
Exactly.
They'll figure it out.
You'll put the links and stuff, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. I will. I will. I just learned how to do that like three
Ooh,
days ago.
see? Always learning. That's a good thing.
I just learned how to do. I seen it in another podcast, like description, and I'm
Hmm.
like, how do I get those links in there? And then it hit me. It's been staring me in the face the whole time, and I'm like, oh, that's how you do that.
Yeah.
Neato. So I'm doing that now. So
Thanks.
that's pretty awesome. Yeah. What made you start the the social journey, the social media journey? I guess.
Um, Boredom, I guess.
Same.
Um, I just kind of started working, but at the time my husband was working different shifts, so he was up early in the morning and would go to bed by 7 o'clock, just because his job was very physical. Um, I'm not a early bed person. I'm a night owl, so it's like, well, what do I do? We don't have TV. We're in the middle of nowhere with crappy internet, so it's like, well, I could maybe try one of those. And I think my very first one actually downloaded TikTok to make a video for work to kind of merge videos together. And I'm like, well, that kind of worked. And then I'm like, well, I could do one on my dog. And then my very first one, and it was cold, and I put my balaclava up. You couldn't see my face, only saw my eyes, and I went out and walked in the snow. And yeah, I'm like, well, that's kind of fun. And it got a couple of views, and then a couple more. And I'm like, this is kind of fun. I was the drama kid that built the sets. I was the stage manager. I wouldn't get up on the stage to do anything. But now it's like, I can do this because I don't have an audience in front of me, right? I can do it 3 or 4 times until I get it right.
Yep.
And yeah, and it was kind of fun just kind of learning the app and learning the sounds. I'm like, I could do that. I could do that better. So yeah, and just kind of grew from there. And then, the more people liked, it's kind of like, a little addiction. The more people liked it, well, I can do another one. Maybe I could do one a day, during the week kind of things. So, and then of course, met you and a whole bunch of other people like Benny,
Love
and
Benny.
just the encouragement that I got from um, everybody that was liking and commenting, like Kylie, yeah, just a ton of people. And then it was like, wow, these people are kind of cool. And I think I got home from work. I think I've been doing it for about 6, 7 months, and I'd been stuck at 990 for like probably a good month and a half. And you were in your live, and you're like, hey, you only have, I think you're the one that got me up over 1,000. And we went live that first afternoon. I'm like, holy crap, people kind of like me.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's not often you see a safety person like that's fun, right? They, hey, I bet they are fun outside of the
Oh,
job.
very
Like
fun.
safety people tend to be, a little stuck up, a little not stuck up,
Reserved.
reserved. They tend to be like, hey, I'm not gonna interact with the crew. I gotta be like the responsible one here, right? And it's like, hey,
They're no fun.
I like poking the safety people. I like, hey, I know there's something in there. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
and our safety guy that we had, he was very much like that. He would say, that guy he really he ticked me off today. Oh, that little brat, right? And I'm like, are you kidding? Just call him a fucker.
Exactly.
Just say you're a piece of shit. And he's like, oh, can't say those words. And I was like, come on, man. And then once in a while, you'd be like, shit, right? And I'd be like, there you go. Hey, good getting there, right? Good for
He's
you. It was baby
gotta
steps,
relax.
right? Yeah, and then over the years he opened up a little bit more. I've known him for like 5 years now, and he opened up a little more. He no longer works with us.
Hmm.
I think he opened up too much.
Ah.
He opened up too much. He's a trucker again.
Oh, that darn trucker mouth.
Right. One day
Came
he's just
back
like,
and bit him.
what? Yeah. One day he's just like, holy fuck, and then I look at him like, whoa, holy fuck, you said it. And then he's like, well, I'm going back trucking, right? And he's gone. He did it. So
He
good for him.
realized that truckers make more money than safety does, so he wised up.
Can you? It's like being a teacher. Can you put a price on safety? Right? Like, can you be like, oh, someone's got to make the shit money in the oil field, and thank you for being those people.
I'm not going to be that people for very much longer, but
Yeah, because dispatch makes a fuck ton more, right?
here they do.
Good for them. Good for you. Good for
So,
you.
yeah. But no, it was, and then just talking with you and Benny about other social medias, I'm like, well, okay, well, I can take these TikToks and I can put them over there. And yeah, it's a slow grow because I started TikTok and then moved over to the Instagram and the Facebook, but it's slowly growing. I think I've got 200 on Facebook and probably not as many on Instagram, but I have to just get better at posting. TikTok's just so easy for me to post to. So now it's like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, I got to remember that I got to save that before I post it so that I don't have the watermarks and all that fun stuff.
I'll send you the link to a website you can use to get rid of that watermark, and you don't have to save it beforehand.
Oh, I've used Snaptic. It just did not,
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah. Still kind of a pain in the ass to download. So I just save it into my phone
They
now.
they actually have like a little download button on the record screen, like where
Yeah.
before I used to go and screen record the video before I posted it, but now they got like a little download button up there you can download. It still throws the voice off just a little bit,
Yeah.
and I don't like that.
I'll send you my tips and tricks that I've learned from a couple other people on Facebook or
There
on
you go.
TikTok for saving live photos and the videos and stuff and matching them up.
Yeah, yeah.
CapCut is becoming my new favorite friend. So,
CapCut. I've been using CapCut. I think I had CapCut on my phone before I had TikTok.
ooh,
Yeah, I was using CapCut for other things, and then so CapCut's become my friend for the podcast.
mm,
I download the video, I throw it into CapCut, I pick the section of the video I want to use for the trailers, and then I throw in episode 30
mhm,
and now streaming in there somewhere. And so it's become my friend for that. But back before, I think TikTok owns CapCut now.
mhm.
But before they owned it, they would actually suppress your views if you imported it from outside the app.
Mhm.
Right now with the templates, it's kind of like they're pushing for it, right?
Oh,
Well, they
absolutely.
are. They definitely are pushing for it,
Mhm.
and I love those templates, right? Like I just love them so much, and like most of the ones I see, I don't even use, but like the odd one, I'll be like, "Oh my god, yes, I have something for that
Mhm.
right away." Boom, use it.
Absolutely.
Like that one where Rick Grimes was crying by Carl, and it's like when you have a night out in the town, and it's immediately followed up by a surprise drug test,
That's
right? And it's like,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that one, and I knew exactly what I had to do immediately.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's how for me, you got to keep your brain growing and doing something different. So, kind of as you grow through the app, you're learning more of these little tips and tricks and
yeah.
taking them over to Facebook and all the other socials and other profiles and things like that you're doing. So,
I gotta know something. I gotta know something. As Steffi and you've been through other parts of the Oilpatch, it's time for a finger check. Do you have all your fingers?
I have all my fingers.
Are they your real fingers? They haven't been sewed back on.
Nothing sewn back on.
All
Promise.
right. All
It was
right.
very, very, very close for one of my last turnaround workers, but yes, I still have all of my fingers, all of my own toes. We're good. Um, my back is fucked, but the doctor
Oh,
fixed that with some plates and some screws, so we're
are
good.
you're over 30? Of course your back is fucked.
Yeah. Well, my L4 and L5 are perfect now because they're fused together.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
What happened? What happened there?
Just broke down. Instead of your spine doing, your spine's supposed to do this. Mine did this
Oh,
and
that
pinched
sounds
nerves.
painful.
Yeah, it was not fun. So it's now
Shit,
fixed.
that sounds painful.
Yeah, well, I dealt with it for about 15 years, and that was kind of the last kick at the cat. It's like, you know what? I can't be driving pressure truck anymore. I can't be hauling a hose like that. It's just too much on your lower back. So
Yep, I
stretch,
hear
people,
that.
stretch, warm up.
Yep, yep. That I always used to think in my 20s. What that's a joke. I'm nimble as fuck. Get to your
Hmm
30s and you're like, why doesn't my leg bend that way? That's
So
weird.
why do I pop like that when I lay down?
Oh, yeah. Um, what's I don't know if you're allowed to answer it or not, but what is the like craziest or scariest incident you've ever seen?
One that I've dealt with
One that's
myself.
stuck in the back of your mind since day one.
I've got two that are pretty stick in your head ish. We were doing a pipeline south of Grand Prairie down the Two Lakes Road, and I was still kind of a baby medic at that time. And mechanic was prying the belly pan off of a cat and used the wrong end of the pry bar right through. He luckily missed all of his tendons, all of his bones. There was hardly any blood, but he had a puncture wound right straight through the middle of his hand, right about there. I was shocked that he was still upright and able to walk, but I'm sure that was part of that was shock. But yeah, he missed everything by sheer luck. And then probably the most scary one for me was my last turnaround, working with some high pressure cleaners, and of course, first job, high pressure water is not. You stay away. That's why you stay away from wash guns and anybody that says high pressure. You stay away from them. But he did lose. I don't know if you guys can see a little chunk of his finger there as he pulled the pencil line through his hand. So
Mm.
yeah, that was get him to the medic now, or to the nurse, because it was a facility. Get him to the nurse, and I did break some laws getting him to the hospital. He might have ran.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, but I knew that he needed to be in a hospital. He needed antibiotics now. So
You've seen some shit, eh? But
mhm.
no, luckily, it, luckily, I don't know. You've never seen any fatalities or.
um
And I
ambulance,
don't
yes.
even know. I don't even know if that's a question you're allowed to ask, like a medic safety person, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if
just no
it's like
details.
respectful, right? I don't
Yeah,
even.
I we've done CPR on some people. Um, truck accidents are my worst. I've had a couple of guys knocked unconscious. Luckily, they were knocked unconscious. That's what saved them. Yeah, truck rollovers, semis, losing loads. Those are the scary ones.
Yeah.
So, and because that's the kind of person I am, I care about everybody. So if as soon as someone is hurt, I'm there. Like now, I'm worried about you for the next, you know, 3 to 4 days until we know that everything is good. Um, I've had a worker have a heart attack away from home. It's like, okay, now I'm going to sit and worry about you because I know that your family is far away. I'm going to sit here and worry about you because someone has to, and
Yeah.
that's who I am. I worry about everybody, and I make sure that everybody's safe and at home and has what they need because it sucks being out there by yourself. So
Amen to that.
So I'm very, very lucky that any of the workplace fatalities, and I don't like calling them that, have unfortunately been older workers with heart attacks and things like that. So
Yeah, that sucks. That's just as shitty as getting hurt and
absolutely,
dying. Yeah,
absolutely,
that like because you could have done that at home and been around family and friends and whatnot, right? And it
exactly.
doesn't make it any better if it happens there. Hold on, I gotta put my phone on low power mode. It's not. It's like 40%. I just, whatever.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. You never know.
Preparing.
Um, yeah. So I don't know if you know, like, I'm making August all about the blue collar ladies.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told you that,
You
right?
did.
I
Yes.
did. Yeah. So I'm making August all about the blue collar ladies, and I knew like Tanya, Tanaya. You have to be there. You have to be there. I want to get you on. I want to get you on a while ago. Then we were talking about getting you on. You know, um, ramp up our like little like beef there a little bit, but we haven't really had the time to do that so much lately. But like so I know I wanted Tanya on for as part of the women. You're solid, and I wanted some badass bitches on the. I don't know. Can I even say that?
Absolutely.
I wanted
That is what
some
we are.
badass bitches on the podcast for August to be part of the female appreciation, female blue collar. Fuck it, I don't even know. Blue
You have.
collar females appreciation month.
There you go.
There we go.
You now have
And you were a must, and you're gonna be like near the end of that because
on.
it just gets saving the best for last. You know what I mean? We're saving the best for last. Your social media darling. Everyone
Oh,
loves you, and 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 we love you in real life. And so like you're near the end because
oh,
why would you start Kiss first and then bring out Simple Plan? You know what I mean? And that's not saying that anyone that was at the beginning is Simple Plan.
you
We,
know,
you know what I mean?
we
Shout
we
out
all
to the
rock it.
ladies. Shout out to the ladies. There was no right or wrong order to put them in.
Exactly.
There
And
was, and there wasn't. You guys aren't all Simple Plan. None of you are
hey,
Kiss.
you know
None of
what?
you are Simple Plan. You guys are amazing people.
Stop digging the hole. Stop digging the hole.
I
We
do
get
that
it.
a lot. I do that a lot. I
You
do it a
love
lot.
us. You love us all. That's all you have to say.
Hell yeah, I love you all. So, having said that, have you ever like experienced, um, the negative side of being a female in a blue collar, male dominated industry?
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Why did you hire her? She's not going to last. Yeah, well, I outlasted that whole crew. So give you that one. Um, Unfortunately, back when I started medicing, I worked for a company out of Grand Prairie, and it felt like when you got dispatched to a job, and I lived in the staff house where the dispatch was, it's like, well, do you want a redhead, a blonde, or a brunette? That's not cool. That's not what I'm there for. I have taken the first aid training. I have taken, and for my AMR, I was doing it while I was working. So I did the SATE overnight classes. Yeah, I'm here to work. I am not here to be a pretty face. Like, you don't work without me. So you don't get to choose, which hair color your medic girl gets. I
Yep.
actually had one crew get quite upset when my cross shift came out, and it was a guy. I'm like, guys, not cool. He's got the same skills. You've already tried. You're not getting any from me. So, just to accept the fact that medics here are here for a reason. We are not here for eye candy. We have a job. So, and that's what still to this day pisses me off on this app is when the girls, and especially the young girls now, thank gosh some of them are standing up for themselves and saying, you know what, I am here to do a job. You cannot come up. We all get we're going to come and flirt with the medic,
Yeah.
but you just know that you're not going to get anywhere because those girls are professionals. They have a job to do, and by you coming up and just hanging out and wanting to get numbers, you're actually interfering with their work. So, how about you go to yours?
Boom.
Just saying.
Mic drop. Mic drop.
Fucking rights. And I mean, there's been a lot of places where I have been the only woman working there. I was the only woman in the shop while I was wirelining. All of the other girls up in the office. Nobody was working in the shop at that time. Um, when I was working out on the pressure trucks. Excuse me. There was maybe one or two other girls, but they were swampers and they'd come and go. So, yeah, it's everywhere, but you just have to stick it out and know that it does get better. Just, holy, I've been talking for a while now. It's dry in here. But you show up every day. That's the biggest thing. Show up every day, do your job, go home. That is, that's the way you're going to get ahead in it. Just show up, listen, learn, do your job.
Yep. Yep.
And you'll outlast a lot of them. There's a lot of guys
Absolutely.
out there that think that they are all that. I'm going to come out and save the patch. Dude, you're just another number two.
It's just another number.
Get in your truck and go.
Yep. Yep.
So,
I guess it kind of feeds into like I was gonna ask like if if you had any words of advice for like any of the young ladies coming up or any they could be 15, you wait until they turn 18 to make that jump, but you got any words of advice for the younger generation of females coming up?
learn about everything. Don't just pick one thing and say, that's what I want to do. Because that's what I thought I was going to do too. Like, yeah, I'm going to be a medic. I'm going to be a paramedic. I'm going to go on to stars. Well, that was so not in my career path. But be open to the ideas. When someone says, hey, I think you would be really good at this, you should try it. Look into it, research it, give it a go, right? I like in my changing career path right now, I'm always going to be safety girl. Like, I'm sorry, that is part of me. I still do some safety consulting on the side, so there will always be a safety girl. But when people around me said, we think you would be good for this job, listen to them.
Yep.
Give it a try. You might be scared shitless. I had 2 days to think about it. It's like, well, yeah, maybe I could do this. And now, bam, I'm doing it. So listen to the people around you and learn about everything and just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Don't be afraid to say, you know what? I'm not going to do it because I'm scared. Just try it. If you fail, well, it's a learning lesson. Just move on and find the next one.
What's the worst that could happen if you fail, right?
Exactly.
Like what's the worst that no one like nothing bad is gonna happen if you try it and you fail, right?
Exactly.
You just do something else that is next. You just go try something new next, right? It's the next thing, right?
Exactly.
And a lot of people are like, oh my god, I'm gonna fail at this. Okay. Okay.
Well,
So
if you go into it with that attitude, you will.
yep, absolutely. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, that's awesome. That's huge. Yeah, I love that.
If someone offers to get you a ticket, like, hey, we'd like you to take this, take it,
take
because
it every time.
you don't know where that ticket's going to come in handy, and also you don't know who you're going to meet in those classes.
Yep.
I mean, everyone hates that safety makes you go back into those classes again, but I found 2 jobs by going through my first aid and my H2S class. It's like networking there too. We all hate doing it, but at the end of it, usually you come out with, knowing a few new people, and it's like, hey, I know that guy from my H2S class. Hey, are you guys hiring? What do you guys do for this? It's a great way to learn and network and find a new job, learn new skills, or even problem solving.
Yep.
Like, I know you work for this company. How would you fix this? So,
Yep. That's great. That's like the smartest thing ever. Like, because like when I'm in those classes, I talk with everyone, right? And I'm like, hey, what do you guys do? Hey, what do you guys do? Right?
mm-hmm.
Actually, I met she's town council on the town council in Fox Creek, and I met her in what class was that? Was I getting my first aid done or my H2S? Maybe it was my first aid. I think it was first aid,
Mm-hmm.
and I was getting it redone, and she was in there, and I'm like, she looks familiar, right? Because she pops up on my FYP sometimes, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, what the hell? So I after that I went and I made a video about something we joked around about in first aid. And then she comments, she's like, I was wondering if I was gonna see this in a video later. And I'm like, it's you, right? And I wouldn't she's been all over my social media and we've talked a lot. And when we did the fundraiser for the wildfire evacuees there a couple months ago or a month ago, whatever it was. She came into the live stream and she was actually displaced by the wildfire, and she was fortunate enough to have a trailer that she was staying in up north.
Mhm.
And she was like, hey, I don't need this, but this is awesome. Like, I know people that do need it.
Exactly.
And as a town council, part of town council, I want to say councilman, but she's not a man, so town council member, or woman, she was good to have on there, because she was like, hey, this is what I've heard. And anyone that was in that live stream that was from the area, got live information from someone inside, so
Exactly.
yeah. And that, I think that was instrumental. That was pretty huge, make that connection. So
Exactly. And I mean, even just, I was one of those people that I'm like, I really don't want to talk to too many people in the comments. I would always reply to comments and there, but not into the messages and stuff. But you know what? I've met some really cool people there, and people
yeah,
that give you the, oh, sorry, work.
all good.
um, yeah, like met some really cool people that now I'm like, wow, you are one of my new friends. You know what? We talk on the phone, and it's like, it's great to have that interaction. I'm not talking to everybody, but
Yeah,
especially when you're small, you don't have a lot of followers. It's like, someone to bounce ideas off of. And now it's like, well, I've bounced my TikTok ideas off of you. So what do you think about this life choice? Or, hey, how should I do this for my trailer? Those kind of things.
it's
So
amazing how, like, trying to get some video idea off of someone turns into, well, now let's gradually move into personal things, right? And
Mhm.
that's kind of fascinating how that I trusted you to help me with how to edit. So now, how do I edit my life? It's like,
Exactly.
oh shit, I never thought of that. That's crazy. Wow. Hey,
Yeah.
do you know what do you know what viscosity is?
Yes.
Well, what's your idea of viscosity?
Are we talking like fluids and the flow of
Sure.
fluid?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, that's where I'm getting viscosity from.
So
The
when you think of viscosity, what do you think of?
the slow the flow of fluids. So this usually isn't it the, oh, now I'm drawing a blank. Sorry, distracted by work.
It's all good.
Um, oh, you know how long it's been since high school? Freaking science.
What do you know scientifically about viscosity? This is interesting.
The
Like
speed of fluid moving.
so the thickness,
Yes, thank you.
the thickness.
The thickness of the fluid. Thank you. I was, yeah.
There is a reason. There is a method behind this. The podcast is sponsored by the Mudman,
Ooh.
right?
Oh, that's
So
right, with your fancy little hat. And I've watched his
yes,
videos. I should have remembered that stuff, but it's like, it's also 9 o'clock, almost 10 o'clock now,
yeah.
and my
It's been a
break
long
is 5.
day. Yeah, yeah.
But yes, I am smarter than
I
that. I
won't.
do
I
know
won't
what
keep you too much
viscosity
longer.
is.
I won't keep you too much longer.
Oh
But
no.
yeah. So the podcast is sponsored by the Mudman. You deal in the thickness of loads, and yeah. See, there you go. Like you can only imagine where like that conversation goes sometimes. Like I don't know what episode you've listened up to what episode you've listened to so far.
Oh, I've kind of randomly jumped back and forth. I think the last one was Accounting 101.
Oh,
Um,
Emma.
yeah, with Emma. Um, and of course the Octane one.
Yeah,
That's kind of
yeah.
where I was at. I kind of listen while I'm doing other things at work. So
Nice. So we weren't sponsored yet, so you wouldn't have heard anything about viscosity.
okay.
So the Mudman sponsors the podcast. We talk about thick loads, the density of these loads. So
You can't say that with
www.
a straight face. That's
Of
awesome.
course I can. It's awesome. I can't wait till you get to Dinks. It's the episode Dinks with you know who Billy and Amanda are, don't you?
Yeah.
They're the Dinks, and so the conversation about the thickness of a load really went off the rails there. So the Mudman, www.mudmanmarket.com for all your drilling fluid and laboratory testing equipment needs. And when you need to get a big load off your mind, or hey, that's a good one. That's the first time I said that one. To get a big thick load off your mind, visit the Mudman.
And he's got really cool merch. Just saying.
Hey, he does have really cool merch. The hat, I love the camo hat, right? I have like 3 or 4 of those, right? And only one of them I wear. So just saying. And I have he gave me a big bag full of shirts, but the shirt that I'm after right now, the one that I covet, is this new one where the John Deere, it looks like the John Deere symbol, like the colors, but it's his logo.
Oh, okay.
And I have like 50 stickers here with that logo on it, with the John Deere one, and damn, I love that logo. He's coming on the podcast. We've already talked about it. Like, we're trying to set it up. He said shortly after Stampede, he is down.
Nice.
So it's happening. We're getting the sponsor on the podcast to talk about thick loads. So it's going to be a whole episode about the thickness of a load.
Oh, nice. You're
I can't
right
wait.
up your alley.
I can't wait. Yeah, we're gonna see just how viscous this conversation can get.
Oh, I could take that so many ways, but that's for a different profile.
Speaking of which, you do have another TikTok account.
I did, and this is something that I've noticed because you taught me about where to go and look at trends and videos and what does what. The funny stuff that isn't Safety Girl related doesn't do well on Safety Girl's page. So there's a worksite distraction page.
Yeah, and I love that because like you're the safety girl over here, and then you're the reason for why we need safety over here. You know, distractions and I'm not I was gonna say incompetent, but it's not incompetent. It's shit. What's that word I'm looking for? Wow, this is on the FLHA like every day. Mind on task. I'm running through it right now. Slips, trips, and falls, pinch points.
Eyes, mind on task.
Oh shit. It's right there too. You're gonna be so disappointed in me. So fuck. It's not confident. Well, confidence is a big part of it, but like, you know, give me the word. Give me the word.
I don't know which way you're going with this.
Well, like you know, it's not. So it's a distraction. Your mind's not on task. Your head's not in the game. Oh shit. Fuck it. I'm sure it'll come back to me after this is over, and then I'll text it to you. But yeah, your worksite distraction page. What's going on?
That's the stuff that Safety Girl should not say. Just say it. There's a lot of stuff that Safety Girl would really like to say because there are some really cool sounds, and I'm like, yeah, that. But Safety Girl in her coveralls should never say that kind of stuff. But that's one thing about this app and meeting cool people is that I am a lot more relaxed about that kind of stuff now. It's like there's been changes in my personal life. Screw it. Let's just have fun with it. That's the absolutely non-serious side.
Complacency.
There you go.
Nailed it. Nailed it. I just need you to keep talking.
There you go. See, safety drones on in the background, and ideas come to you.
Complacency. Boom.
But yeah, no, that's the stuff that I professionally as a safety person should never say or
And were
show
you
or
and were
do.
you alluding that you have links too? Like
Yeah, maybe.
a spicy link page?
Very possible, yeah. If you have to go back and find the video and
Oh
read the
no, I won't be looking.
oh
Nah,
no,
I don't
but
go look for that
anybody
stuff.
who wants to find, it's all in the hashtags. But yeah, 2023 has been an interesting year. So you know what? Throw caution to the wind. Something Safety Girl would not do. But yeah, what the
Good
hell,
for
right?
you. Good
Have
for
fun.
you. Freedom.
Exactly.
Freedom 55.
Maybe. I'm if we get to 44, we're done. But
Well, I'm not going to keep you too much longer here. So I think you know what's next if you kind of been listening a little bit. And I don't know if I started it yet with Accounting 101. So at the end, I usually like to finish it off with like, okay, so like Mount Rushmore has four of the most influential people in quite possibly North American history up there, right? If you had a Mount Rushmore and people you look up to or that you would take inspiration from, who would be up there and why?
hmm. Oh, these are hard ones now. Rick. Um, I don't know. I take a lot of inspiration from family. Um, just especially grandparents, because grandma worked hard, just as hard out on the farm, but that was, you know, she was supporting her family, and now it's like, well, you know what? I'm supporting my family just in a little bit of a different way, but hopefully with the same work ethic that she had. Um, oh, I don't know. It's hard. I try not to idolize any one person. It's more of an idea, just to be a good person. Um, I don't know. It, don't really look up to any one person. Like, I appreciate everybody on TikTok that gives me the support, because that's where I draw inspiration. It's like, you know what? If I'm making someone else laugh, then I'm doing something right. So let's keep doing it. So people commenting, liking, and sharing, that gives me confidence and inspiration. So I guess I kind of look up to them because I'm hoping that I'm doing the right things to make them happy. Um, but yeah, I can't say that I would have really a Mount Rushmore. It's more of a collection of ideas and groups of people, because yeah, we all have to work together, right? So
Like
I'm
like Pokemon cards, like a binder full of Pokemon cards.
not quite. That's
I
too. I'm
tried.
too old. I'm too old for that shit.
I usually try to steer the conversation towards a Pokemon conversation at least once. And hey, I waited till the end to do it. So
Hey, kudos to you.
hey,
Pick you. That's about all I know about Pokemon. I'm sorry, I'm old.
Tanya, Tanya, thanks for coming on the podcast. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been. We will have to do
Um,
this again.
I 100% agree. Thanks for being a great. Hey, you're probably on someone's Mount Rushmore, by the way.
Aw.
You're probably up there. But thanks for being a great role model to everybody, but
Mm.
females in general in the oil field. Like your go getter attitude, go get them attitude, whatever.
Yeah. Don't
Is
take any shit.
it's appreciated. Don't take shit.
Yeah,
Gator don't take no shit from no one.
exactly.
Right. So thanks for doing everything that you do, and thank you for like deciding to download TikTok, because people needed to see or need to see and want to see more of what you bring. So
Well, thank you. And yeah, it's been fun. And hopefully it keeps going.
yeah,
I,
no, 100%.
So, but yes, and thank you to everybody that's followed along, and thanks to you guys for bringing me into the fold and teaching me things, and yeah, giving me
Hell
great
yeah.
content. This is your stuff is gold. I can make so many stitches with your crap.
Yeah, and it slowed down a little bit this summer, but I'm
Oh,
I'm I'm doing other things too.
yeah.
Trying. I'm pouring more into the podcast. I'm spending a lot more time at home, which is great. Working a lot, and doing just other things other than social media too. I watched movies. I'm checking out new TV shows. I've lost a lot of weight. I'm getting away from the phone a little bit more. The last 2 weeks I haven't had cell service on site, so that might help a
Oh,
little bit. You know,
exactly.
you don't know how good you have it until you get onto a site with zero cell service, and you're forced to talk and think.
Yeah.
And you don't know how good you are at your job until you're forced to just concentrate on your job. Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I almost hit someone the other day. No, that's a joke. I didn't almost hit someone the other day. No, can't say that. Can't say that. We're talking to the safety girl here.
I heard your truck got hit though, so
Yeah. So, I was a little upset about that one. Like, if anyone here is gonna ruin this truck, it's gonna be me.
exactly.
And it wasn't me.
Damn.
Right? Everyone's okay. Everyone's safe. The truck is a complete write-off, unfortunately. And my freedom of movement is now gone. It's all good. They're gonna fix that one because they're too damn cheap. So it's all good. They'll find a way. They'll find a way. Well, this has been fun. Thanks so much for coming on.
Well, thank you. And just remember, go out there, make good choices.
And hey, you stay frosty.
Absolutely.
Yeah, have a good night.
Good night.
Doesn't that just make you want to kick its baby? Is that how that goes, that trend?
No, don't do babies. Bad choice.
Take a fat kid behind a Walmart or something like that.
There you go.
Was that the saying? Is that the
That
trend?
is